Greetings all, Reggie Middleton here. This is a quick video. I was going to do a live stream, but I've actually been very busy. So technically I should do a live stream anyway with the Q&A, but I have to set up. So I'm going to do this pre-recorded and I'm going to launch it later on. I am the keynote speaker, the keynote closing speaker at the E3 conference at Harvard University Wednesday. The conference is all day from 8 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. I come on at 4 p.m. and I will be addressing globalization for SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, basically showing how technology allows all companies to engulf the world. Guess what technology we're going to capitalize and focus on? Veritaseum. You got it. Now, there's a couple of current events that tie into this. And by the way, everybody simply look at the description below the video on YouTube, and you'll see the entire description of the event, time, location, where in Harvard. You'll also have links to purchase tickets. I think it's like $150 to $200. The first 15 to 20 people who contact me or Messiah at Veritaseum.com or through Twitter or however you do contact me, I should be able to give you discounts. And Veritaseum Wales, of course, contact me for free tickets. I think I have 3 to 5. First come, first serve. Now, we got that out of the way. In the conference, I'm going to go over the benefits of Veritaseum and the peer-to-peer value transfer. It's extremely interesting because there are a lot of things in the news. First, let's discuss fiduciary, okay? And the fiduciary rule. What does this have to do with the conversation? Well, first I'm going to explain the fiduciary rule, which is basically a rule that was attached to the Volcker rule and the last administration's attempt to tame the financial industry. And in a long story short, it says banks, investment banks, have to put the customer's interest first, which means when you sell a product, you have to act like you care about the client versus caring about the bonus pool you attempt to enrich. On that note, we had Jamie Dimon discussing Bitcoin last week. He said Bitcoin is a fraud, right? He says he will fire any employee of his that trades Bitcoin for being stupid. Now, he gave some reasons for that. Some of them are actually cogent, but all in all, they didn't hold water. Of course, I don't think Bitcoin is a fraud, and those who actually understand and follow it and who are objective can never see it's a fraud. But Jamie Dimon is a very successful man, head of probably the most powerful bank in the world, save the Federal Reserve, and he's successful. But after he said that, Bitcoin dove. I'm not going to say he was the cause and impetus for it, but I'm sure he didn't help. At the same time, China decided to outlaw ICOs, initial coin offerings, and ban Bitcoin exchanges, having them shut down. Today, in the news, they also have China is spreading the ban, and now they're basically shutting down all off-roads and loads into Bitcoin. Caused Bitcoin to drop. When Bitcoin dropped, lo and behold, guess who bought Bitcoin derivatives? JP Morgan. Mr. Dimon, I'm going to hold you to this. You're firing everybody in the JP Morgan department that bought all those Bitcoin derivatives because they are stupid. They may be stupid, but they made a lot of money because after they bought Bitcoin derivatives, Bitcoin Trust exposure, guess what happened to Bitcoin? It shot up. He even admitted his own daughter made a lot of money. So that goes to show you that whether he probably didn't do it on purpose. Maybe he did, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he didn't do it. Bitcoin has made a lot of money for individuals and institutions. It has a very strong use case, okay? Now, of course, he's not going to fire his daughter, and I don't think those JP Morgan traders are going to be fired either. But it does go to show you the term of, well, I don't want to say talking out so both sides of your mouth, because that would be considered confrontational, and I want to be very respectful. But basically, you should have investment bank representatives say one thing, yet do the other. Not only do you have the JP Morgan buying Bitcoin derivatives after the CEO said that it was a fraud and that he fired anybody, you have one of the highest ranking employees in JP Morgan, other than Mr. Dimon himself, left JP Morgan to join a blockchain startup. Blockchain is the technology behind Bitcoin. You have one of the top traders of JP Morgan leave JP Morgan to start what else? A Bitcoin hedge hedge fund. Okay, JP Morgan had 175 rejected applications to the UPTO, the United States Patent and Trademark Office, for an alternative to Bitcoin. Now, is it really a fraud? That's a company who's highly ranked and highly paid employees are putting a lot of attention into Bitcoin and Bitcoin technologies. They're doing a decent amount of trading, and the CEO's daughter made a bunch of money over it. But it's a fraud. Don't worry about it. He's going to fire everybody. Mark his word on that. Okay, and speaking of fraud, JP Morgan did pay, I think $13 billion in fines and restitutions for fraudulent transactions in mortgage-backed securities. Okay, look, I'm not a lawyer. I'm probably misusing the term fraud. I don't want to offend anybody. Just want to put this in perspective. Now, China has outlawed initial coin offerings. China has shut down or requested the shutdown of all the big Bitcoin exchanges, and now they're closing inroads, basically on-ramps and exits to Bitcoin in general. Okay, China is either the first or second largest Bitcoin market globally, either before or after the US. Interesting, right? Where is all this going to go? Well, some of it is going to Tokyo, but a significant amount is going to go to this small island with tropical sands and beautiful beaches, a Caribbean environment. It's called Jamaica. Why? Because Jamaica is the first institutional client of Veritaseum. Okay, Jamaica has decided to follow or at least the Jamaica Stock Exchange, which is controlled from a regulatory perspective, and if I'm not mistaken, potentially even owned in part by the Jamaican government. They've decided to enlist the advice of Veritaseum, and we're building a digital asset exchange. This digital asset exchange goes way beyond Bitcoin exchanges. It will trade the typical tokens, okay, and digital currencies. It will also trade, what else? It will also trade Veritaseum. Veritaseum, a utility token, utility software that acts as a wrapper. And this Veritaseum can serve as a wrapper and allow this digital asset exchange, which will be, right, a product under Jamaica Stock Exchange. It will. So, of course, we're in the Veritaseum offices. I can always edit it out, but I want to make excuses. We're getting phone calls, we're working, we're trying to make money. Now, so the Veritaseum tokens can wrap anything. Okay, we can wrap physical objects, we can assets, financial assets. So this Jamaica Stock Exchange venture will trade traditional legacy items. It will trade digital tokens. It will trade distressed real estate, cash flow from prime operating real estate. It's going to trade diamond mines and diamonds, gold mines and gold, energy companies, energy, everything, futures. Literally, imagination is the limit. This is all going through Jamaica, the tiny island of Jamaica. We'll use it to fund infrastructure projects through Jamaica, in Jamaica. Startup and venture capital, it will take their junior stock market and blow it up. It will also finance global, international projects, bring massive amounts of capital into that small island of Jamaica. If you thought Grand Cayman or Luxembourg was successful, you ain't seen nothing yet. They took Veritaseum powers Jamaican digital asset exchange. Now, all of that capital from China is going to go into where? Right? I have a strong feeling once they realize that Jamaica Stock Exchange, which has a relationship with its regulators and everything's above board, is up and running, and we're planning on doing an initial beta this week and a public beta of just a small portion I'll release for everybody to play with either next week or later on this week, depending when the developer says it's ready. We're moving on very quickly. We will do, within a couple of weeks, we're going to actually do a limited beta of the whole shebang, except for possibly the beta. And the beta is basically dynamic research, which not only gives you the information and analysis, but allows you to participate in at the same time. You know, a new world. Just look at the other videos I've done. I don't want to go into that in detail. Or you can do a search on the Veritaseum.com site. All of this capital from China into Jamaica, you'd see Jamaica look like Luxembourg or Grand Cayman times 5 in terms of financial assets, which is very interesting because China has took a lot of assets and put them into the island of Jamaica. They've also put them into West Africa, Pakistan. And it's interesting because China is now imperialistic. And this is imperialistic from an empirical perspective. We're not passing judgment good or bad. For instance, the UK was imperialistic, which is why you have a significant amount of world speaking English. as its national language. The U.S., as a matter of fact, speaks English because of the imperialistic U.K. The U.S. was imperialistic, which is why the U.K. is no longer, the pound is no longer the reserve currency, and the U.K. is no longer the world power, it is now the U.S. Now, it looks like China is on a rise. China is doing massive infrastructure investments in Jamaica, in African nations, in Asian nations, in Pakistan, and other Asian nations, and they're extracting significant value out in all these nations as well. By sending a workforce in, getting paid, sending those dollars back, by doing tax abatement deals, revenue deals on infrastructure projects, and land deals. Good, okay, good for China at least. Now you have the opportunity for a small nation to do the same thing in reverse by taking a lot of this economic capital and putting it out of this large, powerful economic power nation into this small nation. Why? Because they're embracing the future. The regulators seem to exactly be on board. The actual exchange itself is on board and is not afraid of the potential decentralization. And I'm excited, okay? You also get to see competition. I'm assuming China's not going to roll over and let Jamaica just take the pie. If they do, then very good for Jamaica, but somehow I doubt that would happen. Okay, and there are several other projects and several other nations that we're working on. These are exciting times. This is something that you probably didn't think of when you thought of a token offering. When I say Veritaseum is utility software, I'm not joking. You'll get to see this utility times 10 momentarily. Tomorrow, I believe we may even be able to release the public, or at least a semi-public. I don't want everybody rushing into the beta because the beta has expenses, which I'm footing the bill off, and I don't want 4,000 people doing a rental facility beta, but I will put it up. We'll limit the amount that can be tested. Remember, this is just a rental facility interface, so you can do some transactions. The rental facility will assist the Vader. If you don't know what the Vader is, just look at the previous videos and do a search on the website. And all this will tie into the legacy digital asset trading system, which will look just like your charge fraud trading screen, or even something like the typical digital currencies, Coinbase, etc. Of course, with some extra bells and whistles that we're going to power, such as superior price discovery. Yes, you'll get a cheaper price on many things. I'm not going to explain to you how, but watch it work. Remember, don't talk, do. This is Reggie Middleton. I'm signing off. Anybody and everybody interested on coming to see me speak as a keynote speaker at Harvard University, click the information and links below, and you'll get to meet the second in charge, well, not second in charge, but my right-hand man, Messiah Middleton, who also happens to be my son. He helped close many of these deals in Jamaica, talking to everybody from regulators to the actual exchange members, etc. Okay, and it looks like he may be pitching a couple of deals to the Harvard University professors. So anybody who's a professor at Harvard, come see me, come meet Messiah. He may be attending soon. Au revoir. Peace. Ciao.